What's good, everybody? It's your boy back with another reaction video, and I'll be reacting to what is this? I don't know why I clicked off the thing. Three more true scary Instagram stories. I don't know if I looked at it. I didn't seem like it because I try to. I always, like every video that I'm gonna react to, and you can see I can see where I looked at some of it. So, well, I leave some of it up. I don't look at it, but I leave it up. So when I bring the video back up, it had a red line that shows like, oh, I've seen this already. So I'm like, oh, okay, this was the video. But it's a few of these named as similar. I think three more scary uh, Instagram stories, and this is from Mr. Nightmare. So I'll put a link in the description down below. What was I about to say? I was thinking of something else, but I was about to say that. Whatever. I was thinking about Cobra Cops. I was just looking at that for some reason. I was like, I meant to say something when I was after I watched that episode, the last episode, and I didn't say it, and I just thought, okay, damn it. But yeah, I'll be putting a link in the description down below for this, so you go check out his channel yourself. He has really good narration videos. So I mean, the guy has like millions of subscribers, so clearly he's doing something right. Anyway, let's get into this. All right, here we.
Instagram is my favorite time waster app. I spend a good chunk of my free time browsing it. I've gotten my fair share of creepy DMs. I've learned to ignore them.
Casey
When I got
Nest.
a notification from Instagram that some random account requested to DM me, I didn't sweat it. I did,
People
however,
do that
keep
to
an
me
eye
all
out
the
for
time. They send me
forums
like
to
DMs
hang
and
out
stuff.
with.
I just
The
don't
DM
even.
is a
Most of
link
them I
to
don't
another
respond
Instagram
to.
profile named Perfect Always with a Z.
I responded to one
I pressed the
person
link and it opened a page
recently
with a bunch of pictures of
because she
girls,
was fine, just
all
actual person,
genders,
like trying to get me
seemingly
to
varying in
subscribe to
ages
her
from 13
OnlyFans.
to 20. As I continued to scroll through the account, I picked up on an unsettling fact that all the pictures seemed to have been taken in secret. Like, one girl was on a school bus, one was sitting on a park bench, one was taken from behind a bush of a girl walking on the sidewalk, one was
Pervert.
taken of a group of girls at a college campus. Expecting to find perverted comments on the posts, all I found were positive comments like "keep up the good work" and "nice." There were also some comments with random numbers, like 500, and that's it. And every single account that commented appeared to be spam accounts, like no profile pictures and no followers.
500.
It was a weird and creepy account, so I reported it and sent a link of it to my friend Ali. Then I went about my business. I was at school when all this happened, so I couldn't give it too much
Sound like
attention
some
to begin
sex
with.
trafficking shit.
It wasn't until after school when I got home that Ali finally texted back saying, "OMFG, who did that? That's crazy." I replied, "I know, it's so creepy." She seemed more concerned and shocked than I was expecting her to be. She replied saying, "You need to report that to the police right away." I replied back, "Why me? It's not exactly my problem." She replied back with nothing but question marks mixed with exclamation points. So I said, "Why are you freaking out?" She said, "Why don't you care about someone posting pictures of you on their Instagram?" My heart
Boom.
sank. I immediately rushed to click the link again and view the profile. This time there were two new photos uploaded to the page.
Oh, and it's you
One of
taking
a
the
girl in the
past 10
passenger seat
minutes.
of an SUV, and one a picture of me walking home. It was taken from inside a car parked on the side of the road. I remembered seeing that car, and I remembered noticing someone sitting in it. This just seemed unreal. I called Ali at once, freaking out. I told her why I didn't understand at first, and explained how some random account DM'd me the link. Ali told me to report it to Instagram and the police. I told her I reported it to Instagram already and told her to do the same. I stayed locked in my room talking to Ali for at least an hour, as I was home alone. The next time I refreshed that Instagram page, it said this page does not exist. First thought, okay, it blocked me, so I asked Ali to refresh it as well, and it said the same thing for her. We both used our Finsta accounts to confirm that it was removed, and it was. The account no longer appeared. I still don't know if it was taken down by Instagram or if the creator had
Probably
reached
should
out
have
to them
called the
before.
police
I
first.
also have no idea what those
But I
numbers in the
guess
comments meant.
she like it wasn't her
Either way,
problem,
it
so
seems like one big setup thing.
she
I'm scared to know any other
she
details
contacted
beyond the
Instagram
profile
for the
of that Instagram
police.
page.
But I'm sure Instagram like keeps like records of that shit for at least a while, 6 months or something, so they could have given it to the police.
This situation happened in my first year of high school. I was 15 years old and lived pretty far from school, which resulted in me taking public transportation to and from there. My Instagram was set to public back then, and I never really cared much about who followed me, which, in retrospect, being a young teen, I should have. My page was pretty standard. I was visible in most of my posts, posing by myself or with a couple of my friends for the most part. I also post a lot of my story, which for those of you who don't know, allows users to share photos and videos to their story for 24 hours. In those stories, I would sometimes include a shot of me waiting for the bus or at the subway with music playing in the background. I remember posting such one day and randomly looking at my stories and seeing who viewed them. I had around 120 views, most of them from people I knew. One account in particular stuck out. The profile pic showed an unfamiliar middle-aged man. The selfie was taken at a weird close-up angle, like those cliché parent selfies. He had seen every one of my stories posted. I didn't really think that much of it and continued about my day. Hours later, when I was nearing sleep at around 2 a.m., I got notifications that that same man had requested to DM me, followed me, and liked all my posts.
Of
I had
course.
about 12 posts, so it wasn't a crazy amount of notifications. I opened his DM and it just said, "Hey," with a smiley face. I definitely found this crazy weird, so I didn't respond and checked his profile. His username was odd. Sam with a bunch of numbers. He only had one post, the weird angled selfie with 2 likes. I finally got a decent look at his face. He was pale and bald with dark tinted sports glasses. He seemed to be wearing a ripped white t-shirt. He had 5 followers and was following around 400 people, which mostly consisted of teenage girls, young women, and a few celebrities. Realizing what an actual creeper this guy was, I blocked him, plain and simple. In the morning, I got off the subway stop that's next to my school and took a seat on the bench in the middle of the platform to adjust my back.
Oh boy, let me guess. He's like sitting there
I felt someone watching me.
like looking at.
The platform was packed with people, so I thought maybe it was just my anxiety. I rose up and turned to find the now familiar middle-aged creep staring at me. His eyes were a glossy blue color, sunken and droopy.
Like this take way too much effort to be like looking for people and shit.
Up and cry at the same
Like,
time. My skin prickled and my whole body filled with fear.
like, I'm too lazy to do that. Even if I was a pervert, I'm like, it's too much work.
No one batted an eye, and I remember breathing hard and heavily, wishing someone would pick up on what was happening. I turned and speed walked around and past people trying to lose him. Though with each step I took back, he took 2 steps forward. He was getting a lot closer to me.
What station is
It
this?
was all happening so fast, and I, honest to God, didn't know whether to continue to run or attempt to draw attention to him.
Trying to see the names, but I don't know. Brighton? Is that what it said?
I told her that guy in white is following me.
I don't know.
As I spoke, I heard my own voice quiver, and that's when I realized how afraid and panicked I actually was. She noticed the man I was referring to at the bottom of the steps, and right away she called him out. She told him to stop following me or she'd call the police. Her shouts made him freeze as others began to stop and take note of the situation. She stood protectively in front of me, waiting for his next move. I took the opportunity to snap a quick pic of his face that I would later use to report him. In my head, all I thought was,
That was nice of her.
People watching me. He can't be that stupid.
You never know. I mean, you were lucky. He could just pull out a knife, start like I'm stab you.
I couldn't help but wonder how that man could have possibly found me. And then I remembered. I posted a story of the subway stop I got off.
Oh boy.
That realization alone made my skin crawl.
So he just waited there until he saw you.
Never reveal your specific location to your public social media. After the woman walked me to my school, I thanked her and actually gave her a hug. I don't know what I would have done if she hadn't stepped in. I wasn't brave enough to say
You got fucked up. That's what you done.
Frozen in fear, but that woman was. I'm forever grateful for her, and I hope that if anyone is ever in her position, that they will step in and use their voice to help. internet and social media can be a very dangerous thing. This personal experience of mine is a prime example of what I mean. I've had an Instagram account for like 7 years now. I used to post on it a lot more when I was younger. These days, I really don't post at all, and I only open the app like once a day just to browse my friends' posts or whatever. Well, recently I lost
Sound
my
like
phone.
me.
I figured it was time for a new one anyway, though. I did try the whole find my iPhone thing, but it said my phone was like 30 miles away. It just wasn't worth it for that old phone. Moving on, one day not too long ago, I got a DM from a kid from high school that I hadn't spoken to in years. In fact, I didn't even follow him. I peeped what he DM'd me, and it was a heads up message. He was bringing it to my attention that someone was using my pictures on a fake Instagram account. He shared the profile in question with me, so I had a look and realized he was right. There was this entire account pretending to be me, just using a different name. There were pictures I'd never even
Oh, that's
posted on
normal.
Instagram before on there.
Happens all the time.
Pictures
Having
exclusive to my
people who
own
aren't
profile.
famous, like,
My head
which I
was
thought
spinning.
was interesting.
I actually felt
I've
sick
seen
after
people
this.
like I'll follow. They be
I
like,
immediately assumed
report
that
this
whoever found
account.
my
Don't
account
follow
had
this
somehow
account. This isn't
bypassed the
me.
password.
And they'll show
The account was
dozens of
1 million
accounts
followers and it was following
of
me
them, and they're
everywhere I
not
went.
even famous.
The post
I
started
guess they
out
kind of
like
like,
5 to 10
I guess
names.
Instagram kind
Most
of
had no
famous, but
comments, but some had basic
if you're
comments
not
like
on Instagram, you
flamethrower
wouldn't know who
or
the fuck they
whatever.
were.
This account was
If
literally
even if you
pretending
were
to
on
be
Instagram,
me.
you probably wouldn't know who the fuck
It
they
had a story posted, so I went to check that, and I felt even more sick to my stomach. It was a boomerang panning from my house to my car over and over, as if they were showing off both. A boomerang is basically just a looping 2-second video that goes back and forth from one point to another. This meant whoever was doing this knew where I lived and had any other information I may have still had on that phone. The story was posted only a few
were.
hours ago. I immediately thought to go to find my iPhone settings and turn on lost mode. I regretted not doing that the second I lost that phone now. When I tracked my old phone one last time, I was in for another horrible surprise. It said the location of my old phone was right outside our house.
Oh shit.
There's a lot of space between houses in our gated community, so there was no mistaking that person was still out there on the
So
property.
somebody just found your phone and was
Turned on
like,
lost mode on
I'll
my old
stalk
phone
this
and ran
person.
downstairs to
Like,
get my roommate Corey's attention.
or did they steal it
It seemed he was
intentionally?
already occupied, though, by his husky barking at something in the backyard. Corey was standing by the door watching his dog. I explained in as few words as possible because I felt the situation was dire. We stepped out into the yard together to call his dog in. He was out in the grass barking rather viciously at someone or something out of sight. The dog was barely visible because it was so dark out. We went together to grab the dog by the collar, and as we got hold of him, we saw someone in the bushes run away into the patch of trees that separated our house from the next house. It was like a jump scare moment in a horror movie. That dark figure I saw run into the trees had to be the stalker pretending to be me on Instagram. I just knew it.
See, if this was a
We
scary
both walked
movie,
inside and knocked
they
on
would
the
have
door.
ran after that
You may
person
ask, why
rather
didn't we
than
let the
running
dog chase
away.
down whoever it was? That's because Corey's dog is all bark, no bite. He wouldn't ever harm a fly.
Yeah, besides, why
At
would you
some
let
point
your
in the middle of
dog
the night, the
do
dog
that?
started barking again downstairs
Unless
by the
it's
front
like a
door.
trained
This was
Rottweiler,
very
pit
unusual
bull,
in
or
a
something
movie,
like that. Like,
so Corey and
oh,
I
he
both
said it was a
checked all the
husky, so
windows
it's a
and then
big
stepped
dog, but
outside.
still, I won't let my dog
It was
just
the most
chase
scary
somebody
thing I've
down like
felt
that.
in my life. Standing on the front porch, looking out
Unless
into
it's
the darkness,
specifically trained to
knowing
do that,
someone
like a
was out
police
there
dog.
probably watching us. We went back inside, and for the rest of the night, silence.
Call the police.
I think whoever had my phone turned it off or smashed it after I put it in lost mode to avoid it being tracked any further. I say this because it would no longer update the location. I checked everywhere by the last known location, but it didn't turn up. After DMing that account that I knew who they were and was filing a report to the police, the account disappeared.
Why would you do that?
Later.
Why don't you tell the
I don't
police
think it was
first?
deactivated. I think it was completely deleted. My threat seemed to work. Like I said, this was recently though. And I'm
Fucking
still
idiot.
staying very aware of my
Tell
surroundings.
the police first so they can investigate. Don't tell them so they can delete the fucking account so the police don't have nothing to go on. Tell the police first. Like, fucking idiot. Like, I don't know why that irritates me. Like, why would you? Why even tell the police if you gonna tell the account, like DM the account, say, hey, I know that you use my phone, the pictures I had in the post is, and this isn't me. and you need to delete this or whatever. Or I contacted Instagram, and then you tell them you contacted the police too. Of course they gonna delete it. Like, don't contact the police first, so they can, especially if somebody's fucking stalking you. Now, if it's just somebody like got your hold of your shit, like, or they uh they copy your pictures or whatever, then that's something entirely, whatever. They pull pictures off of your main page. They download pictures off your main page and post them on there, and that's whatever. Or your backup page or whatever. Then yeah, but like you report that to Instagram and they just get the account deleted. But if you are suspecting that this person is stalking you, and you have evidence because they had a 2 second, he said, boomerang of them going from his car to his house. Or was it a guy? I don't know. That Instagram showed a guy, so I'm like, maybe it was a guy. But he going back and going from his car to house, so they know where you live, and they were just filming on your car, your house, and then you think that it's probably them in the backyard, and you saw a figure get up and run away when you went to go get the dog, and you like, oh well, I'm gonna tell them first. Hey, I know it's you, and I've contacted Instagram, and I'm contacting the police. Like, I don't know, like it's like it's almost like they didn't want the police to get involved. They wanted the person to just delete the account, and I guess they just thought they would go away. Like somebody was just like literally stalking you. Like some stalkers would literally just watch you or whatever, but I always assume if you got a stalker, it's it's gonna get to the point where them motherfuckers gonna come in your house and slit your throat. like, like I don't fucking care. You know what? The police would have been the first people I call. Like, that was dumb. That was dumb. But yeah, you gotta watch because like when I'm on Instagram, it's funny because like the way I look at Instagram, it's like, oh, people kind of use this as a business. So I'm like, oh, well, I want to support people. People, they out there trying to make some of themselves, either, artists, like I follow artists, people do their own drawings, do their own comic books, MMA fighters, boxing, box, boxers, and of course, women, obviously. And I would like all they stuff, just like. I would just go through just liking everything, just like, because I'm like, oh, it's a business, so they can like, hey, I got a new follower, and I have a bunch of new, even though they person probably got thousands of likes already, but I'm like, oh, I take it like a business, and I'm like, oh, I'm helping this person out. I don't DM people. Like when people DM me, like I've liked people's stuff, and they start like I said with OnlyFans, and then they DM me, and I'm like, the fuck is this? Like, why are they DM me? Even I think they're attractive. I'm like, what the fuck are they DM me for? And they're like, oh, I have an OnlyFans and stuff, and you can subscribe to it. And I'm like, I don't want to tell them that I don't subscribe to that, like, because I wouldn't watch it enough to justify the money spent on it. It'd be something like if I watched it like every day or even every other day, it'd be like, then I'm like, yeah, I guess, but I guess it's like just supporting, like, hey, I like this. I mean, because it's not even just like sex workers. It's like e-girls, girls who do like stream video game. You got on there, girls who were just models. You got on there and do stuff. So it's like it was just showing support, I guess, for them or whatever. I mean, I guess other than before where people would put their cash app. I'm like, hey, you like me? Cash at me. But now it's like, hey, if you like me, you can get my OnlyFans showing me shaking my ass or cooking naked or doing other, whatever, having sex or whatever. I'm not sure if, because I know some other people do stuff and they don't even do deal with sex. Like they kind of like vlog, like on on their OnlyFans, or they give, I guess, they get more personal than they do on their Instagram. From some people I've like heard about that have OnlyFans, but they don't do anything like sexual content or anything on there. But yeah, I just take me. I'm like, is it because it's not even like, oh my gosh, she wants me to join her OnlyFans, like it's a person thing. I'm like, I don't. I'm like who is this DM? Like I act like that with I act like a person who has like thousands or millions of followers, and like who is this? DM. It's like that's the way I act. I'm like I don't. I'm like listen, I liked all your pics. I'm like and you had like 1,000 pics. I wasn't. I was at work and I wasn't busy, so whatever. Or I was at home and I was getting ready to go to sleep and I just went through your pics and I think you're funny and you're cute. So I was like, and or I was following. I like all your artist work or your drawings or whatever. So or your paintings or I like the music that you do. So I like it, you know. Right? You DM me or I don't know if they legitimate, but I've had people DM me about like brand ambassador type stuff, and I'm like, I I don't know if that shit's legitimate. So I'm like, because they might be trying to like getting me to give them information. I'm just like, I don't know. I've had people try to scam me before, and I've been scammed where I lost I stopped it before it went further. But I lost like $2,000. I was like, now I'm even more like cautious. And that was the thing I was trying to like, oh, I could do something, get a little extra revenue. And it was supposed to be like a job working from home. I saw I can go to work, and they was like, oh, you can kind of do this whenever. I said, oh, I could, which I should have known right then. That was bullshit. Like, they gonna send you equipment, but you can do the job whenever. Like, really? But I was like, oh, okay. Because jobs usually like that are like, well, you gotta have your own computer, access to high speed internet, a phone, and maybe some places might even say you need a PO box or whatever. But if you're gonna receive packages or whatever, but you need to have all that shit yourself. But they was like, oh, we'll provide you with the phone. I mean, not phone, but the computer and stuff. And you just got to give us like let us use your bank account. And I let them use my fucking. I had USAA. Well, that was one of my accounts. I have like a bunch of accounts, and that was just one that I had because I had to open an account because I had car insurance through them. And that shit was they fucked that shit up, which I should have known. Because what the funny thing was, if I'd have just kept the money, I would have had $10,000 because they ran money through my account, and I only lost like $1,000 in that. And then they was like, "What happened?" and stuff like that. So I don't know. And then I used my main account that I normally use, and then and I was like, I don't like this, and I said, this is weird. And I was about to can I, and one of the it's funny because I thought that one of the people because they was talking about doing a money order, one of the people at Walmart, well not at Walmart, but they worked with the a money order type thing, and they weren't at location, they was somewhere else. And it was a Hispanic woman. She called me, and she was like, "I don't think you should do this." It's like she was like, talking to me. And I said, "Yeah, I wasn't. I was getting ready. I was getting ready to. I was trying to figure out who I should call to cancel." She's like, "Oh, I can do it." Cause she was, I was just looking at this. She's like, "This looks fishy." She's, "I'm not sure, but it just looks wrong." And I said, that's how I felt. Me and her, she was cool. She was real cool. And I ended up canceling it. And they kept messaging me like, what happened? What went wrong and stuff like that. And then they messaged me because it was on the Hangout app, which I should have known from the get go. And but I let myself be drawn in. And then they messaged me like, oh, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" Like it was like and all type of shit. And they're like, "Fuck kill you" and all that shit. Like, and I thought to myself, if I'd have realized that was like, if I'd have known that was like a scam from the beginning, I could have had $10,000 because they sent $5,000 the first time, and then they sent, but they sent $5,000, but they said I had to put $1,000 into it, and they sent $5,000 through my account, but then I had to do a money order to send them and send them the information to go back out. So end up sending them 1,000. It was ridiculous, and I'm probably not remembering it correctly. But if I could have, well, at least I could have kept the 5,000. Probably not the other five, but I'd have had $5,000 in my account. Because I said, if people do that, if you, because I mean it's a high risk thing because it was like people up on that, and they're like, yeah, you send me $5,000, and then they send you $5,000, and you just keep it. They just break off contact, and now the only thing is they had like you had to give them like the information to your account so they can send you the money, like your routing number and stuff like that. But because you're not one thing, you're not able to make like I know you're not able to like make transfers over the phone unless you they're like, well, what's your debit card number, stuff like that, and they're like, oh, you give them the debit card. Oh, you gotta give them your social security number, or which I didn't give him. But they didn't ask for it either, or like your name, address, date of birth, and like last four your social stuff like that. But like he had the routing number and an account number. But like I said, that's not you can't just use that. Plus, you can't withdraw money from that either. You can put money into it, but you can't withdraw them. But even now, they don't even let you really put money into it. Like you gotta go through a whole lot of hoops to even put money into an account, whether it's yours or not. But anyway, hope you enjoyed my reaction. One, if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell or you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below. Share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.